Hey guys, welcome back. Well, it's not every day that I find a good 2.5 or 3-inch frame, and that's exactly what I've found here. So this is a new frame from Rate FPV. It comes in two versions, a 2.5-inch frame and a 3-inch frame. The body is actually exactly the same. The only difference is the arms. The length and the thickness of the arms are different. And full disclosure here, this is actually a frame that I'm selling on my website. So there's links in the description down below. But having said that, I wouldn't be selling this frame on my website if I didn't think it had some really nice features that are worth looking at. So in this video, we're going to have a look at an overview of the kit and a few of the features that I think are quite interesting. And we'll start with just a quick overview of the frame. So you can see we've got a 2-position mount. We've got the VTX, which will accommodate an O3 as well in the back there. And in the middle part here, we've got your stack or your all-in-one, whether that's a 20 by 20 or 25.5 by 25.5. Rolling over to the bottom, we've got an all-in-one bottom plate. Now, this is something I might balk at on a larger quad, but for a 2.5 or 3-inch, this is a really good idea having this solid bottom plate. And of course, the bottom plate and the top plate here are both 2 mm thick. Okay, moving up to the front, you can see our frame extends, our carbon and standoffs extend to here. And then at the front here, we've got the TPU camera cage. So from here all the way up to here is just the TPU. Okay, rolling over to the top here, you can see a little bit of design there. We've got X design. So it's not a true X, it's what we call a squished X design, bringing the arms in closer. And this just gives a 155-degree view out the front here for you if you've got the O3 camera in there. I quite like this design. I prefer the squished X or true X to a dead cat style. It just flies a little bit differently. And everyone's got their own preference, but I just like that. Also, we've got removable arms, which I think is a really good feature as well. I really like the idea of having the removable arms, so it's nice and easy to swap the arm out if you break an arm without having to replace the whole frame. So the frame comes nicely packaged in the box. You've got the S25 and the S30. So you might just have a look at what you get in the box. Okay, so in the box we've got a couple of TPU pieces here. We've got actually two mounts. These are two different camera cages that we'll have a look at in a second, and your other TPU parts. You've got a bag with a plethora of nuts and bolts and standoffs and more than you'd ever need in there, and some zip ties as well. You've got the parts for the frame, all the carbon parts, and then finally two battery straps, two different size of battery straps, whether you're going for a 3S or a 4S. Okay, so just having a look at the carbon parts. First thing you'll notice is this nice chamfering on the edge here, and also some of the countersunk holes, and a little bit of a satin finish. So of course it doesn't add anything structurally to it, but it's just not really nice to see that they've actually taken the time to do this chamfering and finish off the kit really nicely like that. Okay, let's have a look at the arms. So these are the arms for the 3-inch version, and if we have a measure of the arms there, we can see they're 3.5 mm. If we have a look at the frame that I've put together here, this is the 2.5-inch version, and the frames there are about 3 mm. Okay, so that's basically the only difference between the 2.5-inch frame and the 3-inch frame is the length and thicknesses of the arms. Okay, so the arms, if we have a look at the arms in a little bit more detail, we can see that they've got these cutouts here. So the arms go together like this, and then you've got these two little slots here, and this is really important. These go straight around the stack mounts. Okay, so if you need to remove an arm, you can just slide it straight out without needing to take the stack apart. Okay, then we've got these parts here. These go on top of the arms, and you might notice there's some cutouts here, and those cutouts are for the nuts, the M2 nuts. So this is a really good idea. The nuts seat down into these cutouts, and they actually hold in there quite tight. So it means that you can tighten the bolt from underneath without having to get a pair of pliers onto the top of the bolt here to hold it in place as you're tightening it. So that's really handy. And they just go on there like that. On our 2.5-inch version here, we're just going to take these two bolts out. This is the one that holds the arm in, and we'll take the center bolt out that secures both the arms together. and we'll just see how the arm slides out. So this is the center bolt here. Okay, so with those two bolts removed, the arm just slides straight out this way, and you're able to remove it and replace it without disturbing the stack. And of course, if you need any spares for this frame, arms, top plate, bottom plate, they're all available. Just contact me through the website. So for the carbon parts, we've got the two camera cages here. You can see the one on the left there is actually got the action cam mount, and the one on the right here, this one has just got, it's just playing without the action cam mount. So you can see it here on the 2.5 inch, we've got the action cam mount one there. You've got these parts here, these motor protectors, if you care to use them. I don't use them. I find it very difficult to tighten the motor bolts down tight with this TPU. That you never get them tight. We got the front bumper here to protect the carbon at the front. And this part here is the antenna holder. This goes to the back underneath your VTX antenna holder. This part, I like this part. I like the design of this. What we've actually got here, we've got a little lip here around the hole, so you can actually get a cable tie around there and cinch it down nice and tight to hold it in place. That's a really good idea. If we have a look at the way the legs attach here, you can see that they're actually tied down by these 3 bolts here, and it leaves this large area here which you can use to mount a receiver or any other peripherals you like to mount in there, or even just for running cables through to the camera. So if we turn over to the bottom here, you can see we've got our 20 by 20 mounting pattern here, and they're coming through right here in the top there. We've also got the adapter plate. So this is a 25.5 by 25.5 adapter. So that just goes straight on there like that. Bolts screw through from the bottom, and you can see it just fits on nicely there. We've got the cutouts for these M2 nuts here, and these nuts are actually recessed here into the TPU. So when you screw the bolts in from the bottom, they just grip straight away. And once again, you don't need to get pliers in there. So quite a versatile frame, being able to mount a 20 by 20 or 25.5 by 25.5 flight controller in there. For the top plate, okay, top plate just goes on here like this. I like the way they've got this cutout here. There's a cutout here, and you can actually run your battery connector through there, or you can have it coming through the back here. So it's nice that they give you the option of having it at the front or the back. Right, so there we go. A good option if you want a 2.5 or 3 inch frame. I'm actually going to do a build of this frame here, the 2.5 inch version. So if you want to see that, like and subscribe. And until then, happy flying.